Can you just explain what management consultancy actually is?
There is only one outcome. There are people who have invested and they have to generate a return on their investment.
The problem that the Indian education system currently is facing is that the curriculum is not extremely relevant to what the practices in industry are.
Students coming from India are analytically far ahead than students coming even from Harvard Business School.
Now, where do you see the industry heading?
60 to 70% of the work junior consultants did will get replaced by AI. See, if we say that automation is going to lose jobs, then US should be poorer than India. Being ambitious did not make people very successful. The passionate people end up being much more successful than people that are ambitious.
Being passionate can take you to places where ambition cannot.
Actually, the topper is the worst consultant.
There is a lot of fear amongst people regarding Gen AI taking jobs.
AI will 100% displace jobs, but
Today, we have with us Thomas Kuruvilla. He is a managing partner at Arthur D. Little. Not only that, he is also a member of the global board. He has been a significant contributor in the industrial and digital transformation in the past 25 years. And today, we'll be understanding the nuances of the consulting industry with him, the realities, the hidden truths that everyone wants to hear. Today, we have with us Thomas Kuruvilla. He is a managing partner for Middle East and India operations for Arthur D. Little and also a member of Global Board. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be in this program. I really wish that what we are going to discuss is useful to the listeners.
So while giving back to the society, not a lot of people know that apart from publishing, my grandfather used to write engineering books for a lot of subjects.
Yes. So I did my electrical and electronics engineering from Kerala University. And the most important book for an electrical engineering is the books written by Tereja and Kurmi. And I understand your grandfather is Dr. R.S. Kurmi, right? So I'm very, very happy to be talking to his grandson. It was a must. It was a very good book, by the way. It was a must to study that book for you to get an electrical engineering degree.
So I also feel very proud from being, let's say, he was a professor at Delhi Technological University and he then got into writing books. And for someone like you to actually having read his books, it is like a dream come true to interview you.
Was not an option. If you take an electrical engineering course, you have to.
So your journey has been truly inspirational for us. From your initial career path working at Lawson and Toubro, then also being a part of the pilot team in India, and moving your career forward towards consulting, your journey has been truly inspirational. So would you like to shed some light upon it? How come such a diverse career?
It sounds very interesting when you present my career journey like this. I may start the conversation by making a controversial statement by saying that I don't believe in being ambitious. It took a lot of experience to come to this conclusion that being ambitious did not make people very successful, and rather it should be more being passionate and committed to the work that comes your way, right? It may sound a bit contradictory because you may be presenting or discussing my career progression based on a person being very ambitious and trying to achieve things. And I'm saying that is not the way to build your career. You just do what comes your way. I can also tell you that I am very pushy, even though I am not ambitious. I'm very pushy to do things the right way and I go after it. Now, for Larsen and Toubro, the college I did engineering, they don't invite Larsen and Toubro to the campus. So you cannot get admission to Larsen and Toubro. So I visited Larsen and Toubro campus, met the HR person, pushed for a discussion, and I got through in Larsen and Toubro, right? Now, coming to Arthur D. Little, I was in Melbourne when they came for the campus recruitment. They rejected me in Melbourne. Then in Singapore, I approached Arthur D. Little, and there also they rejected me from Arthur D. Little Singapore office, right? I had a very interesting conversation with the partner at that time, explaining to them that If you don't understand what I'm saying, how did you conclude that I'm intelligent? For you to conclude that I'm intelligent, you need to understand what I'm saying. And they said, Thomas, fine, I understand. That sounds a very good logic. But what are you willing to do? I said, I'm willing to work for free. So I worked with Arthur D. Little in the Singapore office for 3 months for free. And then I got confirmed. And then I'm with the company for the last 26 years, right? Started in Singapore, worked in Germany, in France, in Croatia, a little bit in the US, in Malaysia, and India, and then started their Middle East operations in 2006 and 2007. And this is a company that rejected me, and I
Right.
worked for free for 3 months.
So you have actually shown that being passionate can take you to places where ambition cannot.
Correct. Because when you are ambitious, the person who is observing you are understanding that you're doing something for your own benefit. That is what ambition means. It really took a while for me to understand why I hate ambitious people, because they are very, very self-centered people, right? Unless you say I'm ambitious to help people, I'm ambitious to donate, but that ambition and donation, ambition and helping poor people doesn't gel. It more gels with passion. You see what I'm saying? So ambition is for me, sorry to be a bit blunt and controversial, ambition is a negative word for me. It is really a negative word. It's a very self-centered, self-fulfilling, um, selfish thoughts in your mind.
It has a selfish annotation to it.
Yes, correct. And being passionate, there's nothing selfish about it,
True.
right? And you will do well and you will be successful. And I have seen that across all my clients, lots of entrepreneurs, lots of students, lot of people coming to ADL. The passionate people end up being much more successful than people that are ambitious.
So you mentioned that you tried to work in Arthur D. Little first in the Melbourne office. Then after getting rejected, you went to the Singapore office and you convinced them to work for free for 3 months to show that you are a dedicated individual. How did you actually convince those people? What did you say?
So I the logic I followed was that, see, I got rejected because of my communication skills, but I had the highest rating on structured thinking, clarity and thinking, and intelligence. Right? And I argued with them that that is not something that you can be easily trained up on. Communication skills is something that you can be trained up on, and the world today accepts people with different accents. I have a very heavy Indian accent or a Keralite accent, and people coming from Japan or Europe or China have heavy accents, and the world accommodates it. So I was trying to convince them that your criteria to reject somebody on communication skills does not sound correct to me, because the world is accepting it, but the world will not accept somebody who is not intelligent
Or structured.
So I told them that what you really want, I have the highest score, and what I'm weak at are areas, in my humble opinion, are not the most critical things. And on top of that, I'm willing to work for free. So and for them, there's nothing to do, right? They're getting me for free for 3 months. So
True.
for them, it was actually a very easy decision. For me, it was not an easy decision, because I did have a job with Economic Development Board in Singapore. I had a job with Singapore Telecom. So I had two confirmed paying jobs when I was willing to join Arthur D. Little Singapore for free. So I was taking the risk, but I was passionate. I was very confident. I should not sound arrogant, but I was very confident that I will get through that.
Understood. So for our listeners, can you just explain what management consultancy actually is? There's a lot of buzz in the management community that consulting is a very prestige job to have, is a very prestigious job to have. But what actually is management consultancy? When did it actually start? What is the actual need for it? Just shed some light upon it for the layman person to understand.
Almost every discussion that we have in life is consulting, right? And I think we try to bucket it into very narrow domain, saying that this is strategy consulting, this is management consulting. Any discussion that you facilitate and help somebody take a decision is consulting. It's as simple as that. right? But overall management consulting has evolved. Arthur D. Little started in 1886. It's supposed to be the first consulting firm in the world. In 1886, it was not even management consulting, it was more technology consulting. We developed the technology to manufacture paper. Arthur Dehon Little, who was the founder of Arthur D. Little, was a chemist. So he designed how to manufacture paper, right? In the earlier days of consulting, it was more about information because it was not easy to, there was no Google. Forget about Google, there's no information. Information is only available in libraries. So the initial stages of consulting is more about information gathering, analyzing information, and providing information for people to take decisions, right? Because information was not available at all. So somebody consolidating information across the globe and historical information was very, very valuable. Then it moved on to taking decisions, expert decisions being taken by consultants and providing those expert decisions to clients. But now it is not even providing expert decisions, it is more facilitating taking a decision because the information is available for everybody. Your clients, in my view, know the subject much more than you. So it is very difficult to argue that you are bringing in expertise to a client in a domain in his geography. So let us say you are consulting with Mukesh Ambani on Geo. It is very difficult to tell. You should not even think that you know better than him on the telecom sector in India. It's just not possible. It's impossible, right? But then you are bringing in lot of experience from international telecom businesses, um, insights from asset heavy industries, because telecom is an asset heavy industry. You can look at how shipping or ports or airlines or utility companies where, and telecoms is supposed to be a utility company, but I don't think anymore. It is becoming a very high risk, high return industry, and utilities are supposed to be low risk, low return. So when you are consulting with Mukesh Ambani as an example, you are not bringing in telecom Indian expertise to him. You are bringing him a lot of other experiences, sharing with him, and jointly and facilitating a discussion with him in a very unbiased manner. That is where we bring in a lot of value.
So initially, uh, consultants used to be a part of the industrial transformation, followed by the digital transformation. Now, where do you see the industry heading?
The industry should now give a lot of importance to digitalization, AI, and convergence, right? These technically it existed, but these are relatively new to the entire world, right? So consulting firms should have an advantage in this area because they put in a lot more investments to understand AI, the benefits of AI across sectors, across geographies, across life cycles, right? So, and I don't know whether we have enough time to discuss that. By introducing digitalization or AI, you can increase the bottom line by 30 to 40%. I repeat, because any asset, see what is business value creation from business? It is always generating more output from an asset, right? Now, let us talk about this room that we are sitting, right? Because of digitalization or AI, you may use this over a Zoom.
True.
And you can conduct a class from this. A professor can be sitting in this room and conducting a class over Zoom to students sitting in US. So that is a digitalization, right? So the asset got utilized double.
True.
Or a hospital, same hospital are treating double the patients. Because of Zomato and Swiggy, the hotels are providing food to 3 times or 4 times the number of people.
So the volumes
are increasing. So what you need to really think about, which people are missing, is that digitalization and AI is allowing you very clearly, there's no doubt in it, is very clearly allowing you to triple the output from the same asset. Or let us take the road infrastructure. When you bring in Uber or Ola,
the utilization of the vehicles used to be 60%, now it is 90%, right? So you are using 30% less cars.
True.
Right? When you are using 30% less cars, you are occupying, you need 30% less parking. You need 30% less road infrastructure. So the benefit is not just 30% reduction in number of cars. Everything that the car touches is getting optimized. The road infrastructure is getting optimized. Now, because of Uber, later on you will have autonomous cars. So when you have autonomous cars, you don't have to maintain distance between two cars. Distance maybe between two cars, maybe you need to have a space for three cars before the next car. If somebody is driving it, if it is autonomous, it is going to be very close. And if it is autonomous, the speed can be double. So the space is one third, the speed is double. So it's already 6 times. You see? So you need 1/10 of the roads in Bangalore if all the cars are autonomous. 1/10 the road. Bangalore will not be congested if you have all the cars autonomous. No driver.
In the near future, when do you see that uh, autonomous driving would be fully adopted in India? Like, let's share some experiences from the Middle East, how it is
In the
happening
Middle
there.
East, in restricted areas, it is already done. Restricted areas, because
Mm-hmm.
where you cannot mix traffic. So the technology is already fully developed where there are only autonomous vehicles. So if you have a road infrastructure in which 100% of the vehicles are autonomous, it is already working.
Understood.
Where it gets tricky is because you mix an autonomous car with a
Normal driver.
a normal driver, and he doesn't know what the other driver is going to do because it is not
Protocols.
autonomous. But if both of them know each other, then it will never hit each other. It will never hit, right? Because all of them are talking to each other. But when you mix a non-autonomous vehicle with an autonomous, it is not yet sophisticated yet, and that will come up maybe in another 4 to 5 years. And in the Middle East and many developed economies, in 10 years, you should have fully autonomous cars possible, in my view. And India, maybe in 12, 15 years, it should be possible, right? So that is one aspect of where the consulting can help, is clearly under educate people on the benefits of digitalization, AI, that asset throughput can be 3 to 4 times. Number one. The other component is convergence, because so far all of them think in industry terms. Reliance Energy, Reliance Telecom, Reliance Bank, right? Now you have to move into convergence, right? Because when you do mobile payment, or let us talk about autonomous vehicles, what are you talking about? It is road infrastructure, it is automotive sector, it is telecom that is doing the connectivity, it is banking services that is deducting your toll when you drive through the car. You see, so just in a car moving along a road, there are already 4 industries coming together. That is not how people used to think
Earlier,
so.
yes.
So one is about digitalization and AI, and the second is consultants or consulting firms are able to think through multiple sectors, because there is no firm in the world that is even expected to have knowledge across multiple geographies and multiple industries. So technically, nobody other than really good consulting firms are able to think about the benefits of convergence. And then when you go to Reliance Telecom, you can bring in the banking experience, infrastructure experience, payment experience to a telco. You don't need to bring a telco experience to them. And that only consultants can do in a very, very good way. And that is where consulting should move into, right? It's not
Understood.
about information gathering. It is not about what Google is doing. It is not about Excel spreadsheets and PowerPoint slides, which AI can do. It is more about bringing international experience across sectors, and bringing the insights from convergence, right?
Understood.
And that is where consulting should and add value going forward.
So you mentioned a lot about AI and generative AI in your previous discussion. There is a lot of fear amongst people regarding Gen AI taking jobs. So how do you see AI changing the consulting industry? Is it something that students should worry about?
AI will definitely take away jobs. Is it bad? I completely disagree. We should not be using computers.
Mhm.
It took away jobs. Why did we replace typewriter with computers? Then we should say that we should not have been replacing typewriters with computers. We should be saying today that you should not be having voice recognition because some people are losing job. So the thinking is really, sorry to put it bluntly, it is very stupid, right? People will lose jobs, but what will happen is when people lose jobs, the jobs will create much more value because a job that used to take 5 people, now it can be done by one person.
By one person.
That one person is creating lot more value.
Mhm.
When that one person is creating lot more value, he will get lot more salary, right? So if you automate, the value addition by a person becomes 2 to 3 times.
Mhm.
Now, when the value addition becomes 2 to 3 times, there is lot more money in the economy. There's a lot more investments will happen in the economy. The people who lost jobs will get new jobs, right? See, if we say that automation is going to, people will lose jobs, then US should be poorer than India. Correct? It is so stupid, right? So we are only looking at one aspect which is wrong, right? So AI will 100% displace jobs, but it is very good because the throughput of the economy, the output of people will be much better. The value you create is going to be much better. The compensation that you will get is going to be much better.
Mhm.
When value is getting created in economy, it will be reinvested. More jobs will be created, and then you will have more jobs, much more jobs than the number of jobs you lost. It is going to be that way. Now, coming to consulting, 60 to 70% of the work junior consultants did will get replaced by AI, like data collection, developing an Excel spreadsheet, preparing PowerPoint slides. All of that can be done much better than AI than fresh consultants. So, one way to look at it is to say it is very negative to fresh consultants because you don't have jobs. The positive way to look at it is, when do you develop? Your development depends on the quality of work that you do. So, because of AI, let us say 50% of the work that you are doing is getting replaced by a machine, which means of the 100% of the work that you're doing, 50% of the non-value adding work is getting replaced by AI.
True.
That means the work that you will do in one day has become significantly of better quality.
Mhm.
Your development becomes better, your experience becomes better, your value becomes better, your progression in life becomes better, you will get a higher compensation. As a person, your development probability has become significantly higher because the non value added work has been taken out by AI. So it is very, very, very positive.
So, you talking about jobs getting displaced. So, would there be newer jobs that would be created for these people, or are we moving towards a universal basic income wherein, let's say, after 20 years, 30 years, people would not have to work for, let's say, a basic income level?
No, no, you will not. You will not have to go into a basic income level because every time the economy develops, there are some jobs that are getting eliminated, but there are more jobs that are getting created than the jobs that are getting eliminated. The new jobs that are getting created will be creating more value, and hence it will generate more income. So the income level will go up and the employment will go up with automation and AI.
Diving deeper into, let's say, the consulting landscape, what are the key stakeholders involved? For example, let's say there's a consulting firm and we are doing a consultancy job for one of the business units of Tata Sons, let's say Tata Steel. So, what is it that we actually do?
We do,
What is the key takeaway that one should know in this entire arrangement?
there is only one outcome from any consulting job. Only one outcome. The one outcome is there are people who have invested in an organization, in a company, and they have to generate a return on their investment. That's it, and there is no other income. There's no other purpose of a consulting engagement.
When I go to Ratan Tata has invested money in Tatas, and our job is to help him to make more money in an ethical manner, right? Like ethically, properly, following all the right regulations, following all the guidelines, behaving and conducting business ethically. How can he make more money from the investments he has made in Tata? There's only one objective.
So the
Now,
key,
then people may say, Thomas, there's about charity, and that's separate. You have to segregate that. And that is how you may have a foundation, you may have a charity organization, and you have to segregate all of that from your business entity.
consulting unit.
The business entity, the only purpose of a business entity is to maximize the return to an investor who has put money into that business. That's it. There is no other objective.
Understood. So you're saying that the key takeaway for, let's say, when we say value generation, is that we increase the monetary output for anyone who has come for an advice to a consulting firm
It is a monetary output for regular businesses.
for regular
Now,
businesses.
let us say I'm doing a project for the government of India and road. Then it is not monetary, it is called economic value, right? So then you have to look at direct and indirect, because for a business, you only look at the cash flow coming to the owner. What is the cash that comes to the owner? You don't look at indirect benefits, right? But if you're doing a project for the government of India, you cannot look at the direct cash coming to you, but it is still value created for the shareholder. Shareholder is the government of India, and you can look at economic value created. So when you build a road, the road is going to cost you $10 billion, and the economic value has to be $10 billion. If it is $9 billion, you should not build the road, right? And it is possible. So it is always value creation. Whether it is monetary value creation, it is because it's a simple business. It can be economic value creation. It can be social value creation. But you should be able to document that. You should be able to evaluate that. You should be able to quantify that. That is required for every single consulting engagement. Every single consulting engagement.
So can we say that when we try to increase value, the main agenda is to increase the return of the shareholder, and we then try to find different paths? Let it be in the industrialization era, it was something else. Digitization era, it was something else. We try to find solutions based on what is working currently to increase the shareholders' return.
Correct. And again, you mentioned Tata, right? So again, there also we have to be quite careful. When you talk about shareholder value in consulting, this is also, we need to be very careful when we develop strategies for companies. You need to be clear, are you creating value for the group or the subsidiary, right? So you also have to define clearly who is your shareholder. Because I can give you a very simple example. Like, let us say there is Tata Automotive and Tata Steel. So are you creating value for Tata Automotive and Tata Steel separately, or are you creating value for the combined entity of Tata Automotive and Tata Steel? And the difference is, let us say you are creating value for the combined entity. Tata Steel can give steel to Tata Automotive at a loss.
True.
It's possible. And by giving it maybe at cost, maybe Tata Automotive will be able to generate much more value, additional value, versus what Tata Steel lost, right? So technically, you should look at the highest level of value creation. So if the shareholders are common between Tata Steel and Tata Automotive, you should not try to optimize the value in Tata Automotive and Tata Steel if the shareholders are common. But if the shareholders are not common, you need to be fair, because you may be having people having shares in Tata Steel, and then you may be having people having shares in Tata Automotive. You cannot optimize in a combined fashion, because that is unfair to one party, right? So the right way to look at it is, who is the shareholder, and you have to optimize value to the shareholder. If the shareholder is at a company level, you have to optimize at the company level. If the shareholder is at a group level, you have to optimize at the group level.
So you're saying that eventually it all leads to convergence whenever it can.
Yes, converge towards the people who have put money. True. That's it. No, not for anybody else.
So leading teams and projects across different geographies, you have had a vast experience. So what has been your leadership philosophy in order to nurture so many people over a vast experience of 25 years at a consulting firm?
I touched upon it already, but let me again mention that the leadership, what a leader should do is to always work on the positive aspects of your team members and develop and address areas of concerns and look at complementary capabilities and put them together and avoid overlapping capabilities. Because let us say you're doing a project for an energy company, there is no point putting three people who have energy experience and three people from Houston. You should bring somebody from Houston, somebody from India, somebody from Singapore who has energy experience, some has organizational experience. So you should be mixing competencies where it is 1 plus 2 becomes 3. That is leadership skills in my view.
So different nationalities have to be put together.
Put together, different capabilities have to be put together, and your skills in getting, and they will all have different philosophies in life because they are coming from different backgrounds. Their value systems will be very different. If you talk to somebody from India versus somebody from US, their values may be different, right? And you should never say something is right or wrong.
Mhm.
That is another advantage of working in different geographies, right? Because when I work a lot in Christian clients or Muslim clients or Hindu clients. And before that, we always had a view that you tend to believe that your religion is correct and the other religion is not so correct,
Not so
right?
correct.
Or your value system is more correct than the
Mm.
other value system. But once you start interacting with people and you have an open mind, you will understand that everything is right from their own context.
True.
And that is a quality that you need to inculcate in the people with you. You should say that, guys, please understand that in their particular context, it is right.
Context.
And so the moment you're able to have that appreciation, that is really, really good. Because now you're not against. You look at everybody and you realize everything is good.
Mhm.
There is always something to learn. It is always a positive reinforcement of contradictory or conflicting viewpoints. And the learning is unbelievably good because you always learn in a discussion where you have a disagreement. Correct? You don't learn when you talk to somebody who has your same value system or believes in the same thing. So, but if you're not appreciating the contradictory viewpoint, you're not learning, you're just disputing, right? So, that is the benefit of working with multiple cultures, young, senior, working with students and clients and consultants. This is what you realize that everything is good. And if you understand the context in which it came up.
So just touching a bit more upon this topic. So whenever uh, students and their families think of sending their children abroad, let's say to work in the Middle East or Europe or the US, they have a certain fear in mind that our passport is less valued in their country and there might be some sort of, let's say, discrimination when we go there. So just shed some light upon it. Does it actually happen or it does not happen?
In my view, if in the pure sense of it, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen, right? Because first of all, in the high-end jobs like consulting, it
Mhm.
definitely not the case, right?
Understood.
See, it depends. I don't know whether you want to call it discrimination. When they see an Indian, there is a view that Thomas most probably will not be a very sophisticated presenter, but they'll also say Thomas normally will be very good in finance. So is that a positive or a negative discrimination? So there are stereotyping of people. So when they say he's good, Thomas most probably, will not be a very sophisticated
Mm.
presenter. His speaking skills may not be very sophisticated because he's an engineer from India. But at the same time, Thomas should be very good in uh, analytical and modeling. So, and we are also saying the guy who's coming from where else is not analytically as good as Thomas. Why is that not a discrimination? So that's also a discrimination, right? So one way is to say that there is, or when we look at somebody from France, we say that guys, they don't work very hard because they're trying to bring the number of hours less. Instead of working 40 hours a week, they want to work 32 hours a week. So when you see somebody coming from France, you may say, that guy doesn't want to work. That is also a discrimination. So the the pure way to look at it is there are stereotyping and you should not call it positive or negative discrimination. It is, there is stereotyping, right? And it is not bad also. It is not very bad also, because you are able to make decisions in a much more quicker way. Because when you say that he's coming from India and he's analytically good, it is more probably right, right? So you are getting some efficiency in decision making process, that without spending a lot of time, because of stereotyping, you already made a conclusion in a very efficient manner. You see what I'm saying? So it is actually not bad right now. In the low end jobs, they may say that, the construction people are from India and the construction people are coming from Bangladesh. It is a fact. So why should you call it discrimination? I don't know. It's a fact. It's a fact that the low end work is done by people coming from South Asia, right? And when they see a South Asian, they will say this guy is most probably not educated. He's most probably a construction worker.
Because the demographics have pastly supported in the past have
Correct.
supported it.
Correct. Does it sound nice to get classified like
No.
that? There is always a rationale, there is always a context by which it is being done, and you don't understand the context, and hence you are saying it is wrong.
So as a part of Arthur D. Little, what are some of the key impacts that you might have created in terms of, let's say, working for some companies, for India, for Middle East? Just shed some light upon that.
People may not know that Arthur D. Little actually helped developing the Constitution of India.
This is actually something that I researched, and I was very stumbled that Arthur D. Little, which is one of the oldest consulting firms, actually had a role in writing the Constitution of India.
Right? We have done very significant projects like the whole strategy for BPCL, the turnaround of BPCL, SR, Reliance. See, ADL has worked on very significant infrastructure transformational projects and regulatory projects. In the Middle East, we did the 2071 vision, 2071 strategy. We work a lot on fundamental industry regulations. So the regulations of financial market to launch digital products, the regulation related to road infrastructure, mobility infrastructure, the regulation related to media coming into Saudi Arabia, the regulation related to bringing in tourism into Saudi Arabia, bringing entertainment, bringing sports, bringing music. So we have worked on almost all sectors, primarily questioning the fundamentals of the industry, understanding that the regulation that was implemented 10, 15, 20 years back was right at that time, and now it is completely changing, and rewriting the regulation. And when you rewrite the regulation of any sector, industry really transforms. So we have done that in many, many geographies. I cover Middle East, so I have done that in Saudi, in UAE, in Oman, in Bahrain. In India, we have done a lot of work, and we cover all the sectors that is more related to infrastructure. And we are relatively lesser on consumer side, retail, branding. Yeah. So our transformational work is more related to high investments, infrastructure, regulation. Yeah.
So now moving on to what students actually have in their mind while thinking about the consulting industry. So there's a pattern in India that the attrition rate is as high as 30% for a person in the consulting industry. So what do you think are the key reasons behind it? Is it that the hiring practices are wrong, or is it that people are a mismatch and they're not able to work for long enough hours, or what is the actual reason for it?
It is a mismatch because there is no clarity on the understanding of what it is to be a very good consultant.
The job description
The job
in itself
description,
is not very
it's
clear.
a complete, people really don't understand. People give a lot of importance to your intelligence. I'm IIT graduate, I'm a topper from St. Stephen's, I'm a topper from IIM, and hence you can become a good consultant. Sorry to put it very blunt, actually the topper is a worst consultant, right? The reason is because the toppers, I know I'm generalizing a bit and it may sound too much, but I just wanted to drive the point. People who are toppers are extremely intelligent, and extremely intelligent people are very poor team workers. And I'm not blaming them again. I have to follow I will not say it is wrong. I'm just saying that because we are very intelligent, you don't see the value of working with others because they are not as good as you, right? So you want to spend a lot more time with people who are better than you or your peers because you want to gain from that. So the moment you are classified as a very intelligent person, you suddenly think that you don't benefit from working with others. You get more and more isolated. You tend to read, you work on your own, you educate yourself, and you become a very, very bad team player.
You start to collaborate less.
You start collaborators, and that is the worst quality of a consultant, right? So the requirement for a good consultant is very contradictory because you need to be intelligent, and intelligent people don't accept mistakes. They don't because they're not used to it. Because intelligent people, most of the time, they are always 99% of the time they are right. Because that's why we call them intelligent. But the few instances that you go wrong, you don't admit to it because you are very egoistic. You see, so intelligent people don't admit mistakes. They feel very uncomfortable. They are not good team players. But this being a good team player and ability to accept mistake is an extremely important quality for a good consultant.
So you're saying humility and empathy.
Humility and empathy, and it is not only willingness to accept mistakes, it is the happiness to be proven wrong is the best quality. Because see, it's not only just I'm okay to be proven wrong. I should show excitement. So people will come and tell me, Thomas, this is wrong. And my reaction should be, thank you very much. I really thank you for telling me that I made a mistake.
So
you
that
see,
so that I can be a better person.
I can be a better person. So it's not only just accepting, it is attracting people and feeling very excited to be proven wrong, which is almost impossible with an extremely intelligent person. You see, so the requirements of consulting is very contradictory. It's very difficult to get the right quality, and then hence you have the wrong people in consulting.
True.
And they become bad consultants or they leave, and the right people is only maybe 10 to 15% of the people that come to consult. And consulting firms may not even explain this. They just select the people who are very good. They also do screening on extracurricular activities and all of that, but I don't know whether they give importance to empathy, willingness to accept mistakes and all of that. I don't think so. So you don't have the right people joining consulting in my view.
So I just wanted to share something. Even in my course at IIM Bangalore, so there was one class in which they taught us that the only one correlation that was found between being successful was actually with the attribute of being humble, humility, and having empathy. So this is also something that they shared in the academic rigor.
Correct. Yeah. But then when you come into consulting, while you should be empathetic and humble, you need to be intelligent. So you see the contradiction because I'm saying intelligent people are not humble, and hence I don't bring in intelligent people, then it doesn't work because consultants are supposed to add value to very, very intelligent and smart people. So that is why I'm saying it's a contradiction. So you cannot say that, oh, intelligent people are not humble and empathetic, and hence I don't bring in intelligent people. Not okay. So you need to get intelligent, smart people who are confident of themselves, but not arrogant. So you should be even confident.
True.
Correct. Because you cannot go to Mukesh Ambani and try to tell him that I can help you if you're not confident.
Because if he doesn't believe in you, he'll not take your services.
And the line, it's a very, very fine line between confidence and arrogance. It's very, very difficult to distinguish between Thomas is confident and Thomas is arrogant. It's very difficult to find that line. But you have to be confident and you should not be arrogant.
Understood.
You see? And you should be humble and empathetic. You see? It's a very, very contradictory requirement to become a consultant. Very contradictory.
So what is it that can be developed in the future? Let's say a person works hard enough. So can they become equipped on the analytical side for consulting, or empathy is something that can be developed with time?
You can. In Arthur D. Little, we bring in people and they develop empathy because, see, first of all, the environment is created like that. So when you come in and if you're arrogant, you suddenly look like a misfit. And I don't want to take names because it will be very impolite. in some firms, they encourage hierarchy.
True.
They they encourage hierarchy, right? They want the partners to behave like a hierarchical person. So when you get into that culture, you develop that capability. But when you come into ADL, they know that becoming hierarchical is not appreciated.
True.
Because people always want them to be liked. Everybody wants them to be liked.
I think it also improves the efficiency of the work they do when when they're actually praised for something that they actually did.
Correct. Yeah. In ADL, when we have a discussion, we never discuss based on hierarchy. We discuss it based on
Experience.
not even experience, content. Let me explain to you. So let us say we have a partner and an analyst in a discussion.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about AI, the partner doesn't have the bigger say in the discussion because the young consultant is more aware of AI.
What is happening around?
What's happening? So it is not even experience. He is a very young person.
Mm-hmm.
So the hierarchy is who has more knowledge on the topic that is being discussed in that instance.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You see what I'm saying? It cannot be because you're a partner, you're a junior, you have more experience. No.
Whoever brings in value will be valued.
Whoever brings in value in a discussion should be treated hierarchically in that discussion on that topic.
Understood.
Not because I'm younger or I'm a partner. Or no.
Understood.
Hierarchy is becoming because of content, not because of position or experience or anything else.
So just one last question upon this topic. So there are some students who are really passionate about getting into strategy consulting, management consulting, but right out of the college, they might not be able to get that opportunity. So what is that? So what other path do they actually have to contribute in a strategy consulting firm, maybe later in their career?
You can, industry experience is very much valuable for consulting. You can go and do any job because consulting requires all capabilities, right? It requires industry experience, it requires geographical experience, it needs functional experience, it needs soft skills. So anything that you do is suitable to consulting. So you should just do whatever job comes to you, and business related work. Like consultants don't hire auditors, consultants don't hire legal people, for example, right? Unless it is audit firm or a legal firm. So whatever area a business covers, you have experience in that, you can become a consultant.
Understood.
You just have to be good in what you're doing.
So you're saying that there might be two paths. One is right out of college, you get into a consulting firm, or maybe you gather industry experience, become an expert, and become very good at what you do, and then re-enter a firm after some years.
I will even argue that some industry experience is good to be a very good consultant. It's very good. A pure consultant is, see, because so you may end up getting a lot of pure consultants, and you cannot like tell them, now Thomas, you go and work somewhere for 5 years. So we mix it on the team. So we cannot get Thomas to have a lot of industry experience and consulting experience, even though I believe that's the right combination. A good consultant should have consulting industry experience, but you don't get it all the time. So we mix the team. So the team will have consultants and the team will have people with industry experience. So team will have the mixture.
So eventually, let's say over a 10-year career cycle, you're saying that a T-shaped growth is what actually makes you successful. So either we broadly make ourselves equipped with certain topics and eventually then deep dive, or either deep dive and then eventually.
Correct. Both are possible. Yeah.
So both are possible. So there is also another terminology that people are using. So now instead of the T-shaped curve, people say that there's a star-shaped personality that people should have in their 10-year career path. So in a nutshell, people have to learn about multiple industries in a short span of time, because as we are moving forward, the time frame for innovation is getting shorter.
Because you have limited time. So if you want to be good in 10 different things, you cannot be equally good in 10 different things. So you just have to be good in what you are. That's it. If you are good as a generalist, you are good as period. It's as simple as that. If you are good as a telecom expert, you are good as a telecom expert. And you need both.
Just be good in whatever you are.
Yes, and just be good in whatever you're doing.
And it is wrong for people to, let's say, backtrace that we can earn 1 crore or 2 crore in this profession and
No.
that is how we decide the profession. That is a wrong way to decide.
That's a very wrong way, because in every profession there are good people and bad people. Tell me which profession, can you say one profession is more attractive? No. You take any profession, I can tell you people are good and making a lot of money and successful. That means every professions are good. The difference is somebody is good or not good in a profession. It is not depending on which profession.
So a couple of people have had this issue that they just get stuck at a particular place in a particular firm and are not able to navigate. Let's say they become susceptible to the corporate politics. They're not able to navigate correctly. So, what are your views on it, and how should people actually navigate when they start as an analyst, so that they should actually, uh, effectively deal with their careers?
I may give an answer to that which may sound a bit controversial. You don't have to navigate, in my view. The fact that I said in the beginning, you don't have to be ambitious, and I have not seen any correlation between success and people who are ambitious, success because you are able to navigate. So, in my view, you don't have to navigate. People will come to you. If they find out that you're suitable to be staffed on a project in the US, they will come to you. And just because you are asking, unless you are suitable, you will not get it. Correct? If you just ask, doesn't mean I will consider you. Right? It is always based on suitability. Right? No. But somebody may say that I want to go to the US, and we feel that he's very excited and committed and getting passionate about it, then I may feel that he may give a better outcome if I put him in the US just because he's very passionate about it. We will take him to the US. Right? So at the end of it, we are still looking at, is the output better? Right?
Passionate.
So, correct. Yeah. So my view is, if you want to navigate, just mention that to whomever you're reporting to, saying that I want to move into some area, and the firm will genuinely consider it, assuming there's no politics and all. If there are politics, you should leave the company, right? I don't know how else to answer that, right? You should not work in an environment which
does not foster your growth.
Yeah, correct. So don't try to navigate in a political environment. Like, so this company is it's very politically corrupt organization, and how do I navigate that? I don't want people to develop skills to navigate a politically bad environment. My suggestion is just leave the place. It's not worth your time. There are so many other places which are clean and good, and you concentrate on your work, and that's it. If the organization is bad, just leave it, right? You have a lot of options in life. Right?
Moving forward to sustainability. So there's a lot of buzz these days around ESG. So how do consultancy firms work or comply with this sustainability angle?
See, in sustainability, we should not even look at it as a separate item. Like earlier, the way we used to say, let us try to look at value creation. Sustainability is mandatory for value creation, right? And people talk about sustainability as if it is an additional cost or destroying value, which is flawed, right? Because any activity you do towards sustainability in the medium, but you don't look at short-term benefit. You cannot. It's the wrong way of running a business, right? Because even normal strategy, you invest, the short-term is negative. So ESG also short-term may be negative. But medium to long-term, every ESG initiative I have seen has an economic value addition to it.
A long-term economic value addition.
Even medium-term. And the ESG regulation, so suppose you're measuring the value to the shareholder, and the shareholder may lose value, then there are credit systems in the world by which, when you're adding indirect value and it is costly to you, the regulation is providing value for that. You see? So either it is providing direct value to you, then you don't need to do anything. Or it is providing indirect value to you, or it is providing value to outside world. There are regulations coming in this world by which the outside world is giving you credit for your ESG initiatives that is not benefiting you financially.
Understood.
So as long as you understand those credits, get those credits, every single ESG initiative is financially adding value to you.
Understood.
You have to handle the system appropriately.
Understood. So there's a lot of buzz around the growth story of India in the next decade as well. And some people call it that it's a once in a century opportunity. And uh, a lot of firms and let's say a lot of political leaders as well as company leaders that I've talked to have told me that one should not leave the country during the next 10 years and be a part of this growth story. So do you agree with it, or what are the nuances of
I
it?
fully agree with it. The way India is progressing, the neutrality that India has in the world puts us in a very, very unique situation, right? So I don't think anybody leaving India, in my personal opinion, is taking a wrong decision, right? Now, let me give you another context. See, because of digitalization, because of AI, many jobs, the geography is getting irrelevant. So, when the geography is getting irrelevant, it is better to be in a cheaper place like India.
Mhm.
So, more and more jobs will come to India, and the compensation level in India is going to go up significantly. If you look at the last 5 years, the gap between Middle East and India has significantly dropped. So, let me give you a simple example. So, we have today, we're doing a project in the ports of in Dubai, there's a port. Today, the port operator has to go up the crane and operate the crane. We've already implemented a system by which, because of AI
Mhm.
and digitalization and camera, you don't have to sit on top of the crane in Dubai. You can sit on the ground.
Ensuring their safety as well.
Yes, because there's a camera there,
Uh,
and the camera that he's giving him better inputs than what he will get himself. Because he can look at it one side, the camera is looking at everywhere.
just
Number
to
one.
just to add to it, there was a latest report that I read that with Apple Vision headset, there's someone in India who did a surgery as well.
Correct. It's possible right now. So the point that I'm trying to, and that job can actually be done out of India. They are not doing it because of regulatory
Regulatory
restrictions.
reasons.
It is not because a port in Dubai cannot be managed from India.
Hmm.
Similarly, teaching will become online. Even our discussion that is happening now, in the future, we will not be required to be sitting physically in the same place, right?
The
So
quality of
if
online is also
correct.
improving.
So if you believe digitalization and jobs can be done, many jobs can be done anywhere, the cost advantage of India will move lot more jobs to India, because India has intelligent people, they have very good language skills. There is no country in the entire world that has cheap and language capable skill. So the labor market has to concentrate in India in a digital world. It has to. And the salary level will come up. So leaving India is stupid in my view. Now, India will have to adapt to that because our infrastructure is very, very weak, right? So we need to put a lot more investments on the infrastructure, on road, on transport, on airports, on railways, on telecoms, on utility, on everything related to infrastructure. We need to invest in it. And we are investing. It has significantly improved, but the pace may not be sufficient.
Pace
If you
may
look
not be
at the pace of
sufficient.
many other countries, or even if you look at China, the speed at which we are doing it is not adequate, but it is much better than what we used to do. So, to get all these benefits, we need to significantly invest much faster and efficiently in infrastructure, and then get the benefits of AI and digitalization.
So, in addition to working for a consultancy firm, you also seem to love to interact with students, and you seem to have followed your passion while being a part of some educational institutes as well, imparting your education of consulting. So just tell us more about that also.
I did not, again, as a part of saying that I was not ambitious, I never tried teaching, attempting to teach, though my parents, both my father and mother, both of them were teaching for around 30-35 years. But I never thought of teaching. But when I started visiting IIM campus and
Mhm.
giving guest lectures, the students requested me to conduct sessions. And then I realized that I'm not eligible to conduct sessions because in IIMs you need to have a PhD.
Mm.
So I should be like Dr. Thomas Kuruvilla, and I'm not. So I was rejected. But the students actually went to the academic board and requested to allow me to teach. I was given a trial class to conduct, The students gave me very high marks. The professors rejected me, saying that Thomas, you are not suitable to teach. And I really understand the rationale because I was not coming in with a lot of academic rigor. And that was the weakness in my teaching, because in consulting, you need to appreciate that we don't get extremely rigorous because we follow the 80-20 rule. And if you want to be academically perfect, you may have to spend a lot of time, and you don't have a lot of time to be extremely rigorous, because by the time you get extremely rigorous and you take the decision, it's already late in the market. So it is a very correct evaluation by the professor, saying that Thomas is not academically rigorous, and hence is not suitable to teach. So finally, now I have been teaching for the last 10 years. I teach in IIM Bangalore, in IIM Ahmedabad. There is a new school in Delhi, which is Masters Union. I also teach in SIAD. And every time I pair with another professor, right? So I don't teach a course completely on my own. So most of the time it is I cover 50% and other professor covers 50. And the students they don't miss on my less academic, rigorous thought process. Another input is that I really, really like spending a lot of time with students. To start with, I don't follow any hierarchical thinking with the students. I keep it very flat. I treat them like my peers, and I behave in a way so that they get very free with me. And then they ask very, very challenging questions, right? So the moment you have students who are very free to think, they ask you the toughest questions versus what your clients may be asking you or what your colleagues may be asking you. The students ask very difficult questions, and you have to think very deep. They don't have any preconceived notions. They don't have the history of knowledge, which, in my view, is technically blocking your thinking. So, the discussions with students and trying to explain them concepts is much more deeper. And I do learn the most from teaching. I'm telling you, I learned the most from teaching versus consulting. So I'm actually benefiting a lot. While people think that, Thomas, you're doing a good thing by teaching and students are getting a lot of benefits, I think I get a lot more benefit than the students from teaching. And I believe that people who have a lot of work experience should teach, because the students also benefit from industry experience. Yeah.
That is exactly the point that I was coming on. According to you, is academic rigor more important than, let's say, industry knowledge for an educator? Because the problem that the Indian education system currently is facing, that is that the curriculum is not extremely relevant to what the practices in industry are. And someone like you who's actually coming from the industry, does it not add more value to students?
See, my view is we should not underestimate the importance of academic rigor. So it is very wrong to say that the Indian education system gives a lot of importance to academic rigor. What is wrong to say is that you're not bringing in lot of industry experience. So I will not say the academic rigor is too much and it is bad. That is definitely not correct. You need to balance it with people with business real world experience, and then it becomes very good. And let me tell you why it is very important. And I wish you can balance it, but it is not easy to balance, because I have people coming from IIMs in India. I have people coming from Harvard Business School or Wharton. I have people coming from London Business School, obviously in London, in UK. It is extremely clear to me that the students coming from India are analytically far ahead than students coming even from Harvard Business School. So if you give them a piece of work to do some analysis to an Excel spreadsheet, you want to do a regression analysis, their analysis is any day better than the students coming in from UK or US, right? But the practical experience, the presentation skills that students have from US or Western countries are far better than people coming in from India. India, the communication skills are a bit weak because they are giving a lot of importance to the rigor in their thinking and the rigor in the analysis, and not about conveying the appropriate message, right? So
both are important. It is good to mix it, right? And that is why in ADL Middle East, we have uh, 30 different nationalities, and everybody has an advantage and everybody has a weakness, and we all learn from each other. So if you have a rigorness of Indian students, the presentation skills, the communication skills of Western educated students, and you mix it together, it becomes amazing, right? I can give you also
Understood.
another very interesting observation. I do have a lot of students coming from the Middle East, Arabic speaking.
Understood.
Yeah. Do you know what is the difference between Arabic speaking people and many others?
Mm-hmm.
The Arabic language can convey messages with one third or one fourth the number of words.
So it's very precise.
It's very precise. So, if you give a presentation
Mm-hmm.
to an Arabic speaking person,
Mm-hmm.
the number of statements he will use or number of words he will use to convey the same message even more precisely is half. But they have the best writing skills,
Understood.
right? So imagine I mix Indians, analytical skills, the presentation skills from Western world, the precision in writing from the Arabic community. Amazing. You get a really, really amazing outcome. Amazing outcome. Yeah.
So you're saying that teams at ADL are extremely diverse in that
Yes,
sense.
extremely diverse. And it is very important to look at what is good in somebody versus what is not so good in somebody, because you can say the Indians are not good in presenting.
They're extremely nice in analytics.
Correct. And you can tell the people coming from the US, you are giving a lot of importance to your dressing and how you look like and how you
Presentation.
talk, and your analysis may not be good. So you can have a negative discussion with them, which many people do, which is very bad, right? So you should have positive discussions with people and reinforce their positive qualities and get it all together, and then you will have an amazing team.
So do you feel very proud that Indians are extremely nice at analytics and they do bring a lot to the table when you see
Yes.
young students?
Yes, yes, yes. Over a period of time, I don't know how people will take it. I hope they take it with the right sense. Once the Indians develop their presentation skills and communication skills, and they get a bit more exposure internationally, they actually become the best. I know my friends from US and UK may not like it, but it is a
Yes.
fact, because the analytical rigorness that you got in school, you cannot get it later in life. It's difficult,
The
right?
cognitive development that happens earlier in your childhood.
It's not possible.
It is
But
not
for the
possible.
people from India with international exposure, you get more sophisticated in your communication, the way you talk. So whatever they are weak at, they develop.
True.
Others don't get a chance because that is normally during your education.
True.
Right? So at the end, over a period of time, the Indians become the best. Maybe I'm biased. Yeah.
No, I think in the United States also, are Indians actually becoming CEOs of those tech companies?
Correct.
It's a true example of there's no heights that our community cannot reach if they get the correct education and exposure.
Correct. Yeah.
So apart from this education venture and your love for educating students, you also have a love for farming.
Farming.
Farming, yes.
I think you found that out from my LinkedIn profile, maybe. Yeah. Okay.
I just researched a little bit about you. Yes.
It started with my wife. My wife tells me that you don't know anything in life. You're just only consulting. You don't know some realities of life. So my wife is a very very different person than me. She is heavily into cultivation, painting. She's a poet. She's a very good classical dancer. So she has a very different background, right? And she is 100 times more intelligent than me, trust me. And she doesn't even know that. But she's really, really very smart. And she doesn't know that she's very smart. And spending time with her, I realized that we all overestimate our capabilities because we got educated. People tell us that we are very intelligent. You are a partner in a consulting firm. You cleared Indian Air Force. You worked with Larsen and Toubro, and you think that you are very big, right?
True.
And then when you start interacting with nature, you will start realizing that you're really, really nothing compared to what nature has done for you.
and then I got very interested in nature, and then it's a very humbling experience to see how powerful nature is and how well organized nature is, and understand that you are almost nothing, you are almost irrelevant in this whole world. You're really irrelevant, right? And that keeps you going, it keeps you grounded.
Grounded.
And hence I believe that everybody should get connected with nature a lot, because it's a very good experience to ground you, keep you simple, and then make you feel that you're not as important or
As you
as
think
big
you
or
are.
as intelligent as you think. So a lot of credit to my wife for introducing me into this. I talk to plants. I tell you, I initially I thought people were bluffing and they are joking. Plants react to your discussion.
So you are saying that there is a transference of energy.
Absolutely. So when my wife told me that plants can listen to you, I told her that don't stop bullshitting me, right? You're just talking rubbish to me. She then in my villa in Dubai, there's a pathway, and we planted tomatoes on two sides of the pathway, right? Tomatoes, right? And my wife told me that to one side of the pathway, you start talking or interacting with them with positive energy,
Mhm.
and the other one you interact with negative energy. The same treatment, the same sunlight, we don't use any fertilizer. So it is sunlight and water. Same is to both sets of tomatoes. One I have a positive interaction and one I have a negative interaction. After 2 to 3 months, the tomatoes that I had a positive interaction with was very healthy, tasty, juicy tomatoes. And the other ones was very bad, very wrinkled, very small. So I was like really shocked. Nature can understand your feeling, your thought processes. I'm not a physicist to understand how it really works, but there is definitely there is a interaction between plants and nature and human being, and how you think, how you talk to them, exactly the way you talk to
Mhm.
a dog
Humans.
or a cat, they react. The plant is also reacting, that you cannot see that, but the plants are reacting. I've seen it myself. The tomatoes are juicier when I talk to them nicely, and the other tomato is looks ugly and sad and it dies very quick. It's a
So,
really humbling experience to interact with nature.
so you're saying that one must give back to nature in whatever way it is possible. And I think while you're educating people and doing farming, this is something that you do to give back to the society, to the nature, correct?
I don't want to sound something very nice. I did not start by doing it like I want to give it back to nature. I'm not such a nice or wonderful person. I just did it because my wife asked me to do it, and then it was a very humbling experience. And then over a period of time, looking at what is happening, now I started feeling that we all need to give it back to nature. But I should not take the credit by saying that I started that thinking that I want to give it back to nature and all of that. That is taking undue credit, let
Undue
me put
credit.
it that way. But that is the feeling that I'm developing now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm a bit more older, I may not be here for a longer time, and maybe the time to give it back to students and to nature. Yeah.
True.
But you have to still understand that you're too small in the whole setup. Yeah, we are really, really nothing, a very tiny,
Hmm.
almost nothing in the whole setup.
So what are the top three personal traits that you have found have been extremely essential for your career path and what you see in, let's say, a successful consultant? Top three.
Top three. Okay. If I have to limit it to three, actually, I can limit it to three, and I cannot even think of a fourth one, which is equally important.
Mm-hmm.
One is about being client centric, or it is more about centric towards the person who is giving you the privilege to do your job, right? Because see, consultants are very self-centered people, but it is really wrong. You should be centric towards the client who
Towards
has
the client.
given you such a job. Thomas, you should feel obliged to the client who's paying you a lot of money and taking your advice. So you have to be client centric, not egoistic. You should not be self-centered person. That is quality
is
number
one.
one. Number two is empathy, right? You have to be empathetic to your client, to your colleagues, because as I said in the somewhere during the conversation is
there is good quality everywhere. You always have a tendency to look at your good qualities and the bad qualities of others. Every single individual in this world overestimates your capability. I'm telling you, I overestimate my capability, I underestimate your capability. Do you know why it is? Because at the end of this discussion, you will only give me positive input. Thomas, the interview went well and what you did well. And if there are 10 mistakes I did in this conversation, it is very unlikely that you will tell me all the 10 things. You see? So the feedback that we get in this world is more positive than reality, and we don't get all the negative feedback, right? So we overestimate yourself and you underestimate your people around you. So empathy, that you're not as good as you think and others are actually better than what you think, and empathetic to them is the second quality.
And the third one?
And the third one is to understand that everything is good. Nothing is wrong. It is contextual. So you cannot say, I'm repeating what I said, but these are the top three things, right? You cannot say your religion is better than something else. Your culture is better than something else. Engineering is better than MBA, or doctor is better than lawyer. No, that's wrong. Everything is good. And for me, if you have these three qualities, life becomes very simple
and easy.
So you are very centric to the person who is giving you your job. He is the center of your work, not yourself. You're very empathetic to people, appreciative of people, and you tend to see everything with a positive spirit. Like, this is good. The negativity is contextual. It is not negative. It is a context that made it look negative to you. And it is really not negative.
Understood. So for the final word, what is the kind of legacy that you'd want to leave behind, and any final words of wisdom that you might want to add?
The legacy, it's a very, very heavy question. I don't even feel entitled to say that I should leave a legacy. That's again becoming you're rating yourself self-centric. Thomas needs to leave a legacy. Wow, that's a very heavy statement. But
everyone wants it.
Yeah, what I want to leave behind is a summary of what I mentioned. If I'm able to create a consulting firm that exhibits all these qualities, in which you are not egoistic, you are not self-centered, you are not hierarchical, you are more client-centric, you are committed towards adding value to your clients, genuinely, not to make it look like that. If I'm able to leave a consulting firm in which the quality of people are much better. You're more empathetic people, you're willing to help, you're not arrogant. So it is for me about the culture in a consulting firm that is in line with many of the things that I mentioned. If I can have that as a legacy, I'll be very, very, very happy. And I'm really trying to do that, right? But the problem in this, I'm assuming that my thinking is right, which is also a contradiction. People may say that Thomas, hierarchical thinking is better to drive a good decision in consulting. You may say that, but this is what I want to leave as a legacy, to build a consulting firm which has all the qualities that I have mentioned, right? And as a final remark, in my view, if you have the right attitude towards creating value for clients, if you have the right attitude towards your colleagues and the people around you, consulting is by far
the best profession.
The best and the easiest profession. I don't find any profession which is as easy as consulting, because technically you're not taking any risk and you're still getting a lot of very high compensation for very limited risk that you take. And all you need to do is to behave properly and be client-centric. That's it.
So do you plan on eventually writing also a book, let's say, on your experience, a biography, or let's say something specific?
Many people have told me I should write a book, but again, it is the same thinking. I should not be rating myself as a self-centered person in which I should be writing a book which is very useful. But it is an idea that is crossing my mind. Yeah. And I would also like to leave a message to the listeners, because I would like to continue the discussion. So I'm sure in the setup, you will leave a way for them to contact me and continue the discussions.
Yes.
Or they can find me on LinkedIn, Thomas Kuruvilla, Arthur D. Little.
And I normally connect to everybody who connects to me, and I respond to them. So I'm happy for people to even give me comments saying that, Thomas, I disagree with what you said. That's what I like. That's where I learn from.
That whatever conversation has happened here, we are open to opinions in the comment section.
Correct. Right.
Thank you so much, sir, for being with us.
Yeah.
It was such a delightful opportunity to have someone like you address us.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you
And
so
I
much.
said in the beginning, I hope it is useful for the people who are listening to this and spending their very valuable time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.